What is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. And today, as you can see by the volumes lined up in the back there, which I'll fall in, I've got my volume review for 5 and 6 of My Hero. One thing to note is that I'm probably going to do these 2 volume reviews up until 18 instead of 14, just because 18 I believe ends the overhaul arc, and I'm not going to read 17 until 18 comes out anyway, because I want to read them together, so I might as well review them together as well. So hopefully by the time 18 releases and I'm reading it, I should be up to date with these volume reviews, because obviously I'm up to date on up to 16, but I haven't read 17 yet, so I can just bring out these reviews now. So yeah, as usual I'll be reviewing these 2 volumes and giving my score out of 10 at the end, and these are probably 2 of my favourite volumes of the series. Obviously volume 5, on the cover, it's my favourite character from the whole series, and this is a very Todoroki centric volume, so probably my favourite of the series, as it would be considering it's my favourite character. And I don't think I mentioned this in the last volume review, but I'm a sucker when it comes to tournament arcs and battles in shonen anime and manga. So as soon as I found out in the anime that half of the season was going to be dedicated to that, obviously I knew from the get-go that I would enjoy it. Obviously similar to the Chunin exams in Naruto, I actually want to compare those 2 in a video, to do something like that, comparing which one I preferred and kind of the differences, and how My Hero kind of changed the shonen battle, like tournaments, stuff like that. But that's something I want to do at another stage. But yeah, I'm a sucker for battle tournaments and stuff, so I knew that I was going to enjoy this arc, and because it developed one of my favourite characters, that was another plus for me. And it has probably my favourite manga fight ever. I really love this fight, so all of that kind of comes together to culminate an amazing volume of manga, and an amazing episode of anime as well. And yeah, it just comes together so nicely and everything. Horikoshi doesn't really write it so that this tournament is too long. I don't think it kind of it's about half the length of the Chunin exams. I believe the Chunin exams is a good length, but for what Horikoshi was attempting to do with the series and with this arc, I think that it was the right length. I like the 3 stages of it. I think they were very unique and individual. Definitely gave time to show each character's flaws, faults, and also some positives for some characters as well. And I really like the way this come down to the obviously it can happen any other way than having a one-on-one battle to end off the trilogy of events, because that's pretty much how it goes usually with these tournaments. If it's not a one-to-one battle from the beginning, it will be like that at the end. So I guess in general this arc isn't anything too inventive, but just what happens within the arc definitely kind of changes up a bit from a normal tournament, especially because this is one of those like fight to kill scenarios, as they are friends or students of the same class or school, so that kind of makes it a bit more interesting as well. And one thing that I really enjoy from manga, shonen manga especially, and something that I recognise a lot from currently reading Naruto Part 2 or Naruto Shippuden, is I really like when a mangaka can also write really good conversations within his fights, kind of give a sense of realism that these are real characters kind of struggling with their own emotional issues. And even right now, within the midst of a war, Kishimoto can still write really emotional conversations between Naruto and his parents, or Naruto and Kurama, or even just other characters like Itachi and Sasuke. All that emotion can kind of come even within the midst of a bunch of really good fights, and I really like when a shonen mangaka can do that, and it's definitely done here in spades in Horikoshi's work. I think the My Hero conversations are some of the most emotional and a few volumes down the line we'll get one section of a volume which in which the conversations are just absolutely amazing. And learning the backstory of Todoroki here while he's fighting is just one of those things where it helps amplify the character by 10. Oh, sorry, let me just fix that. Sorry about that. Yeah, so it kind of amplifies the character by 10, and it kind of puts the reader in a very, or watcher in a very tough predicament as to who to root for, because you've got your shonen protagonist, but then you've got this other character just being developed with a really tough backstory and a really sad life, and it kind of gives you a dilemma, as usually the tournament arcs are very one focused, like in the Chunin exams in Naruto. You want Naruto to go all the way, you want him to get to that final, and you root for him to become Hokage, but in this it's not so one-tracked, and it is really split and divided. Obviously, me personally, I was rooting for Todoroki, and I kind of like the fact that the shonen protagonist didn't just win just like that because of sheer power, like sheer will. You could tell Todoroki was a better fighter, more experienced with his quirk, and it was just made more sense in the grand scheme of the series for Todoroki to win, simply because that's just another hurdle that Deku has to overcome in the future as well. And right now in the manga, I'd probably say Deku is probably stronger than Todoroki, just simply maybe even because he's lost this fight and there's another thing that he has to overcome. And I think it was a really good choice by Horikoshi not to just put some cheapskate way of Deku winning. So that's then again another thing I enjoyed, and that's just not me saying that because I'm a Todoroki fanboy, but that probably helps factor in. But even if Todoroki lost, I would still say this is one of the best fights, one of the most emotional fights as well. And even though Todoroki won, it wasn't without its sadness. And another kind of honourable fight for this volume, I won't talk about it for too much longer because I still need to get to volume 6 as well, is the Uraraka Bakugo fight. There's a lot of Deku's influences on Uraraka as well. You can kind of see, similar to how in Naruto he influences the characters around with this Toho no Jutsu. It's kind of the same kind of thing with Deku. His actions and the kind of person he's trying to become have an impact on the characters around him as they try to better themselves because of things that the protagonist says and does. And that's definitely evident here with the Uraraka fight. And although she loses, she puts up a very good fight and surprised even me with the effort in the fight. So yeah, obviously it's a pretty easy score to give this volume, but I will do that at the end. And kind of the least interesting thing of this volume, which is surprising, is probably the finale of the fight tournament, as Todoroki chooses not to use his fire side against Bakugo. And again, that's just more character development. Todoroki doesn't want to use his fire side. Bakugo kind of needs to come to terms with the fact that his win wasn't what he wanted, but he still did what he needed to. And this page here, one of my favourite double page spreads from manga, just so surprising to see Todoroki go to his mum. I didn't think this was going to happen, but it definitely shocked me, and I just really like to see it. So an amazing volume all the way around. Now let's get into volume 6. I'll try to talk less about it. There's not as much for me to go into. This is kind of setting up a new arc with probably one of the most complex and interesting characters to ever hit the pages in terms of manga, and that is obviously Hirokille Stain, who's introduced here and there throughout the sports festival, but kind of really comes into his own here in this arc. And again, Horikoshi focusing on his other characters other than just Deku here, with Ida being a very central point of this volume, and the fight against Stain, again one of those really good manga fights, because you think, oh, Ida's screwed here, Deku comes to the rescue, Deku gets paralysed by the blood, Todoroki comes to the rescue, and it shows Stain's ideals in full force, as he's willing to take down a bunch of kids just to push forward his agenda. And although he goes about it the wrong way, I wouldn't consider his motives or his ideals about conviction and the heroes entirely wrong. But I kind of want to make a whole video based on Stain as well, because I do think he's such an interesting character, such a complex character as well, that I probably can talk about for 10-15 minutes. So I'll leave that for now, but just know that that's another very good fight. And here, Horikoshi's art, I just really like it. It's very unique, and I really like his character designs. You get introduced to Gran Torino here, another likable character, and it's just kind of Deku progressing his quirk, taking what he learned from the sports festival, putting it into force. I think 6 volumes is a nice time for him to finally learn how to evenly spread out his quirk. After a couple of fights, he has come into his own now, and is definitely growing as a protagonist, which is always good to see. And I don't think it happened too quickly, whereas it just seems ridiculous that he's learning it, or it didn't take too long where the main character was just kind of useless for a large majority of the series. So I think it's just perfect timing to have him face off against a villain with 2 of his classmates. And as per usual, you know how I like my cliffhanger endings, and with Todoroki giving quite an emotional speech to Ida here, it's a very good end to 2 very good volumes. Obviously I prefer volume 5, but as usual, My Hero doesn't cease to amaze and stun me with its quality. I hope Horikoshi writes a really long series, because I don't see any way of getting all this character progression while he's introducing more and more characters and villains into a 39 volume series, which is, I believe, is how long he originally wanted the run to last. But now he's extended it in his interview with Oda, which I would recommend going to check out. But these 2 volumes I'd probably give a 9 out of 10, a 5 for volume 5, and a 4 for volume 6. 2 amazing volumes, and I don't think the series hits these heights again until maybe 9, then kind of dips off a bit again at 13, and comes back into its own again at 14, 15. But I don't think any of the series is bad. There's just a few arcs I prefer to other ones. But obviously this is a very subjective video and view, so if you want to talk about your opinions on the volume, leave it down in the comment section below. Thanks for sticking around for the video. Like and subscribe. And if you have any manga YouTubers to recommend, or if you're a manga YouTuber yourself and you want to be checked out, leave your name in the comment section below. Definitely check you out. I'm just looking for more people to talk within the manga community as well, as it's a really good and interesting community, and the YouTubers that I already talked to are amazing people and have a very good passion about manga, so hopefully there are other people down there as well. So have a great day, and peace.